Hey everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Apologies for being late. It is going to be a late night live stream. We're just going to be going down to 34th Street, Penn Station neighborhood. I'm still a little bit under the weather, so we'll keep it short. But thanks so much for joining, and we will get started here in a moment. Appreciate it. I think we'll just go ahead and get started. We're just gonna be headed down to 34th Street tonight. But it was a pretty busy day on Wall Street. Obviously, today we had Microsoft and AMD reporting earnings. And I thought both of those companies reported pretty well. We had two earnings beats on both the top and the bottom line between Microsoft and AMD. There was a cloud component of Microsoft that came in a bit light, but overall I still think it was a pretty healthy quarter. I mean, if we put things into perspective, I believe Microsoft, in terms of their net income, so profitability, they made just over $22 billion, which those numbers are pretty much beyond comprehension at this point. So not in the year, just the quarter. So last quarter alone, our good friends over at Microsoft brought in over $22 billion in profits, which is wild. So once every single major company in the Magnificent Seven reports earnings, we're going to tally all of the net income or the profits from all of those companies combined, and we'll do a comparative analysis year over year. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Texan1212 is here, Professor Dario. I see TD. What's going on? Brad, welcome. FredX, what's up? Doc7. Yeah, well, I think AMD was up maybe 5% after hours. Microsoft's down, I think, about 3% after hours, but market's in correction. And I think this is a normal run-of-the-mill correction, as we wrote about in our last newsletter. All the major indices were, 10% plus above their 50 days. Going into earnings season, when you're that extended, you could expect some volatility. I think this is going to provide some pretty interesting points to buy some of these names as they build out their bases. Shrick, what's up? Maria, welcome. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. I see MD is here. Cheers. Tatted Tea. Now, tomorrow's the big day. Obviously, earnings are important, right? We cover that every show. I think we're going to do a big deep dive into Microsoft and AMD tomorrow. Just not feeling too well tonight. I probably should be 100% by tomorrow. So we'll cover really three things: Microsoft, AMD, and then obviously tomorrow is Fed Day. And it's also the last day of the month. How crazy is that? It's gonna be August. Whew. That's wild. So tomorrow's the last day of the month. It is also the conclusion of the FOMC meeting, where we will hear from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. And we'll get an updated expectation on monetary policy. I really like this building. 106 Central Park South. Those apartments that have that direct view overlooking Central Park. Man, that's the dream right there. That's awesome. Mike, New York. What's going on, Mike? We're gonna head directly down Avenue of the Americas, or 6th Avenue. Just off to our left is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel and Residences. Now, I was in the Village. I was in the West Village a little bit earlier. I'd say maybe 6:30. Now, for a Tuesday night in the Village, oh my God, it looked like a weekend. I was checking out a property we may list, and then I recorded a walking tour there. The West Village is unbelievable. It's so nice. Particularly in the summer, you have a lot of those very charming buildings, pre-war, older, and you have all those little boutiques, restaurants, lots of outdoor dining. Looks beautiful. And that is the most expensive neighborhood in Manhattan. Now, there was a report out from the Wall Street Journal that said the median price per square foot in the West Village is right around $2,400 a square foot, which is crazy. That's like new development pricing across the board. That's like top tick new development product for pretty old apartments. But as they always say, what's the old saying in real estate? It's location, location, location. And let me tell you, from being in the West Village tonight, that is definitely the most popular location in the city, at least for now. Right? Neighborhoods fall in and out of fashion. What used to be in heavy demand was Tribeca. All right, 57th Street. Lance, what's up? Sarah. Cheers. That's the thing about the Village. A lot of the apartments there need, let's just say, a lot of upkeep. But you could buy a nice townhouse that's totally gut renovated, like on a really nice quiet street. I think the closer to the Hudson River you get is the best in the West Village. The only thing is, it's obviously nice right now, but in the winter, if you live all the way over by Hudson Street and even further, pretty much right along West Street, West Side Highway, that's freezing temperatures, and really nothing but wind in the winter. Well, you'll see it. I'll put the video up in maybe 2 days. The Hudson River Park is just unbelievable. It was a nice sunset. You can see the World Trade Center. You can see all of Hoboken, New Jersey. It was awesome. I was right down there by Christopher Street, which is where the PATH train station is. Bernstein building. You also have Fortress Investments in here. Hey, what's up, Scott Solomon? Thanks for joining us. Allen's need a busy day to close out the month tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have a busy day tomorrow. All eyes on the Fed. And to Alan's point, in the auto industry, I think it's going to be, well, I'll phrase it this way. All eyes and ears will be on the Federal Reserve, for sure. DC says I'm sandbagging for the big start of next month. Oh, dude, that brings back so many memories. Now, sometimes compensation plans, depending on which company you work for, it's almost as if they penalize you for really knocking it out of the park. Some companies don't, but some companies do. And I used to calculate my compensation plan down to the T. And I would say, all right, well, if I hold this deal over to the next month, I'll probably make about 25% more as if I just put it in this month. All right, this is 53 West 53rd Street. Charles Schwab building. And we see Radio City Music Hall in the distance. see that guy driving the wrong way in the bike lane on his little Vespa? I saw another horrible accident today. Because I think a lot of the new guys that come here to the States, honestly, I don't really think they know how to operate like a bike in the bike lanes, because they're used to just going any which way they want. But it's really important in New York City that you only go the way the arrow shows, because during the day there's like 10 people in the bike lane at any one intersection at one time, and you have these guys coming like a kamikaze and smoking. It's like watching bowling. Saw another one today. It was so bad. Someone's asking about Black Rifle Coffee Company. I don't think I've ever tried it, honestly. I think they went public via SPAC, but never tried it. I think my internet is a little bit spotty around here. Crossed by the Del Frisco's. MD's 3M had a nice spike. Did they report earnings? I didn't even know. We'll see if Del Frisco's is packed tonight. Wow, look at the line for Adele's Famous. Crazy. This is Tom. What's my favorite place? Or what's my take on Tesla's Cybertruck? I love it. I want to buy one, but I just don't have anywhere to put it. If I spent more time in Miami, I'd probably buy one. But Robin's a sorry line for where. It's called Adele's Famous. It's halal food. It's very good. It's really, really good. I haven't eaten it in probably over a year, just because the line is so long. That's quite literally the only reason why I haven't eaten it in over a year, is because of the line. Which is probably for the better, because I don't think the food is that healthy, but it's very good. New England Crypto says, Tom, have you tried A/B testing for thumbnails? Sorry, I got off track. I probably should pay attention to all that stuff, but I honestly don't. I'm the worst with all that stuff. I just freaking chuck things up there, which is definitely not the right thing to do at all. But yeah, I probably should pay attention to all that stuff, like thumbnails, SEO, but I honestly don't. I just don't have time. I just kind of hit record and hawk it up there, and if people find it, they find it. If not, they don't. But I probably should allocate some time to at least putting a little bit of effort into it, for sure. Every time that subway goes by, we get like a trash tornado. But as it relates to Tesla, I think once interest rates come down, I think it'll give sales a pretty big boost. In my view.
I mean, I don't.
We'll see.
I don't.
I mean, we got a pretty decent GDP number out, which was quite encouraging. So Brandon says, do I think New York has changed over the years? Yes, I do. I do think New York has changed over the years. If you think about it, if you just go back to 2014, and the reason why I say 2014 is because I remember walking to class, and I remember when 157 topped out, 2013/2014. So if the last time you've been in New York City was 2012, 2013, think about all of the buildings that you've never seen in the skyline. It's a lot. It's a lot. 432 Park Avenue, 157, Steinway Tower, Central Park Tower, 220 Central Park South, 55 West 65th Street that's going up, 1 Vanderbilt, you haven't seen that, 270 Park Avenue, you didn't see that, that's topped out. It's going to be JP Morgan Chase new office tower, and so many more buildings. Hudson Yards, pretty much every single building in the Hudson Yards you've never seen, which is kind of wild to think about. If the last time you've been in New York was 2010, 11, 12, 13, it quite literally may look like a completely new city. That's so strange to think about, but it's true. There's Steinway Tower right up here. Oh, also, you have never seen the new Penn Station, which is the Penn 2 project by Vornado, and you've never seen the brand new Moynihan train hall. That's pretty impressive now that we're talking about it. In that short span of time, we pretty much built an entire city. speaking of One Vanderbilt, here it is right now. Dock 7, that's true. The Torch, well, the Torch isn't done yet. I think that's going to be done in 2027, I believe, 2027. But that's a really good example too. It's another X-Tail building. Oh, also One Manhattan Square. You haven't seen that. And just to think all that happened while New York City was going through a little bit of a rut. Here's a beautiful view of the Empire. Standing right outside of Bank of America Tower. NMB 45 says don't forget the Highline area. That's true too. Many of those buildings weren't built yet. Alex says, hey Tom, do you think the Fed will signal rate cuts for 2024 tomorrow? I think so. I think Fed Chair Jerome Powell will come off a little bit dovish. I just hope he doesn't cheerlead the victory of inflation too hard. But I think he'll just signal that we're not going to wait until inflation prints at 2% before we cut. I think that's probably what he'll signal. Now, what I'm curious about is how he's going to kind of dance around the most recent GDP print, right? Because, yeah, you could turn to the unemployment rate going up to about 4.1% to say, yeah, labor market's weakening. That's true. The last 4 non-farm payroll numbers were revised down. Yeah, that's true. But what about the better than expected GDP print? And that's something that the Federal Reserve, particularly Fed Chair Jerome Powell, is going to have to address tomorrow. So it should be interesting. I'll be watching it. You can watch it on live stream if you go to the Federal Reserve's website. You can watch the broadcast. It'll probably be broadcast on YouTube too. Co-chair says totally forgot about open borders with those GDP numbers though. I think that's one of the things that, you know, whether you like it or not from a political standpoint, but just from a factual standpoint, that's probably one of the things that's driving GDP, to be honest. I'm not saying it's good, not saying it's bad, but that does have a correlation. And if you don't think it does, I would say do a case study on Japan. And if you need a little bit more context, look at the revisionist policies of Japan regarding immigration. Japan historically has been a very, very homogenous society. But now, since, you know, I'm not even really going to say the word is out. This is something we've known for a while, that Japan is in population collapse, quite literally. So the government is actually warming up to the idea of immigration. They're actually trying to attract people to the country, which is totally a 180 of what the policy used to be. So it's quite interesting. I actually wrote an article about that. This is the Bank of China. Let's cross the street to the left. just because that Bank of China building is quite interesting. Looks nice. They have a little bit of a spaceship, it looks like a flying saucer. Brad says, honestly, tomorrow's FOMC talk is the most important in the past 2 years, I think. I'm not sure if we are facing to come out of this or if we might be tipping over. It is definitely a pivotal point. Yeah. Now, many people are, I don't know, I get a little bit confused because many people, you know, analysts, prominent figures, and be honest, this is actually a question for the audience. Hold on one second. You know, how many times have you turned on CNBC? You've read an article in CNN Business or Fox Business, Wall Street Journal, and the title is something like, will the Federal Reserve be able to engineer a soft landing? Or is it going to be a hard landing? I mean, they've been talking about that for it's been going on probably 2 years now, right? 18 months. I don't know what the conversation is anymore. Am I making sense? And I know I'm being very vague, but I'm doing that for a reason. Like, how much does the economy need to scream? And how much higher does the market need to go before people say, yeah, it looked like it was a soft landing? Let's say if we go 2 more years and then the economy falls into recession, which it probably will, because recessions happen, it's just normal. You're gonna have all these people saying, see, I told you it was gonna be a hard landing, I told you. Yeah, after 4 years and the market tripled and innovation went to the moon. So I don't even know what the question is anymore. And I'm not trying to be very curt about it. Maybe I'm just a little grumpy because I'm a little sick. But I just can't even watch the news anymore because every single time I turn it on, they're asking that question. Do you think we're gonna have a soft landing? Dude, COVID was freaking 4 years ago. I mean, how much softer do you want the landing to be? It's like, this is the, I don't know. That's just how I feel. MD, and then some saying we are in a recession. Some say we weren't. Yeah, it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it honestly doesn't, a recession is just 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. Life goes on. Additionally, right, and again, I was being a little bit kind of grumpy when I was saying that earlier. I understand that it's if they can get inflation down to 2%, but if you look at all the leading indicators, right, the leading indicators, inflation is on its way down to 2%. And I'm talking about CPI, right? That's what I'm talking about, the CPI number. I understand that, you know, most things in our lives are going up much more than 2%, much more than the 3% that we have now. But according to their calculations, right, all the metrics show that we are on track to come down to 2%. What's really just starting to accelerate, and this is something we've talked about almost to the point of ad nauseum now, is shelter costs. Shelter is just starting to really kind of accelerate to the downside here. And that's normal. This is like followed every single past, hold on, let me make a move around this guy. This has been following every single prior economic trend. Shelter just takes a little bit longer to revert to the mean, or mean revert, because of liquidity, right? It's a less liquid asset class. And you are starting to see rents and prices come down. I mean, I'm seeing it here in New York. I'm seeing it in Miami, Florida. Now, you're not seeing prices crash and crater, but you can get some deals in this market, for sure. You know, you're just starting to see some sellers become motivated. You are seeing rents decline a little bit. Like those studio apartments in Miami that they were renting for like $4,600 a month, like just ridiculous stuff. Or excuse me, like $2,800 a month. Those are probably gonna go back down to like $2,000, $2,100. Which is kind of right where they should be. Just a mean reversion. I mean, where are you guys located around the world? What are the rents doing where you are? Hey, Jimmy Anderson, what's up? Always a pleasure to talk with you. Trust you're doing well. Here we are at Herald Square. Idea what you're talking about? Maybe not. Maybe not. Arvin says greetings from the Philippines. Cheers. The Wizard, if you want to see the most updated CPI print, just type !CPI in the chat. And the Nightbot will drop the link to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index page, and it actually breaks it down by category for you. So you can track the individual components of CPI, such as shelter, food, food at home, food away from home, energy. So just type !CPI, and you really see a visual of what we're talking about in terms of shelter costs coming down and rolling over. The LT price is 100% chance of a cut in September. Well, let's take a look at where we are. If you type !CME in the chat, let's see where the probabilities are right now. Hey, Jimmy Anderson, thank you so much for your very generous donations. This cheers, brother. Thanks for all the cool views. Thank you, my friend Jimmy. Appreciate you very, very much. Let me check it out. Wow, look at the AI summary. That's actually a pretty good viewer AI summary. That's so cool. All right, so if you click that link, I'm clicking the link too. It's going to take you to a page that looks like this. It's the CME Fed Watch tool. And to the next FOMC meeting, we have 14 hours, 58 minutes, and 1 second. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we can go to the probabilities table, and this is real-time futures. So here we go. There's about an 85.8% likelihood of a 25 basis point rate cut September 18th, according to futures. So check it out. You could use this as your resource. It's a really good resource. So to answer your question, it looks like a high probability. We'll at least get 25 points worth of cuts. MD, because I don't see it happening. There is no reason for it. I almost kind of agree, right? That's why I'm very curious to see what the Fed chairman is going to say about that recent GDP print, assuming that one of the journalists asked that question. Right? I mean, he has to address it. The biggest elephant in the room. Hey, what's up, Dave? Western Mass Dave is here. This is Tom. How was your day? It was pretty good. I'm still a tad bit under the weather. Nothing major, just a tad. But tomorrow night on the live stream, we're going to be doing a deep dive into Microsoft's earnings report. They reported earnings today after the bell, and also AMD reported earnings. Both companies beat expectations on the top and the bottom line, but Azure revenue came in, I don't even really want to say a little bit light, because it didn't. It just came in a little bit below expectations, but it was a great quarter. I mean, Microsoft, just for the quarter alone, made $22 billion. Well, actually a little bit over $22 billion. So net income of I think it was 22.3 billion. It's wild. The numbers that these tech companies are able to achieve is just really nuts. It's crazy. This is not 100% finance related, just a conversation piece. But the amount of people buying cars 100% online and opting for drive-away delivery is surprising. Next 10 years could look way different. So what are you seeing on the ground floor? What are some of those online marketplaces for vehicle sales? Carvana? I think I agree. It's an interesting concept. You'll probably have like an Amazon effect for everything now. Jeremiah 482 says all the car apps are scams. I don't really know too much about the business. It's not my area of expertise.
Like this press, come here.
All right, Dock 7, this is your place. New England Cryptos' Carvana emailed me a quote for my truck again today. You know where I get a lot of emails, New England Crypto? From a lot of those iBuyers, like Redfin. I constantly get emails and I constantly get letters in the mail. Like, you know, we could buy your home for 100% cash. See offer inside. And so I checked the offer as we're waiting for the lights to turn. It seems as if some of these companies like Redfin and Zillow are willing to overpay for single family homes. I think it was close to like $610,000 for my house. And I'm like, my house isn't worth $610,000. Not that I would ever sell it, but it's definitely not worth $610,000. Anyway. Wow, Alan says today we had a guy 29 years old, first time buying, 100% online, and we delivered it right to his driveway. Super streamlined and easy for the consumer, just wild to see. That is interesting. Now, Alan, what do you recommend? Do you recommend buying a new car or leasing? I think within the next 18 months, I'll probably need to get a car. But I'm looking into leasing a vehicle. I don't know. We'll see. Mr. 007 says, Tom, how do you see the real estate market for this year? I just wrote a big report. Our Q2 real estate report. I will send it to you right now. Ed Dunkel says it's a bit of a luxury, but I like leasing my car. Yeah, I'm willing to, because I don't want to buy a car and then have to be stuck with that same car forever, right? I want to explore the option of leasing probably like a Tesla, and then maybe, you know, at the end of the lease, just turning it in and getting the new model, something like that. Even if it turns out to be like fiscally a little bit more expensive, that's fine. Pineapple waters, but as you know, it's a depreciating asset. Oh, for sure, yeah. You know, I'm not trying to make money on a vehicle purchase or a lease, for sure, for sure. And these is talk to your CPA. Yeah, when it comes time to get one, I definitely will have to figure that out, for sure. But I was also looking online, and you can lease like a Toyota Corolla for less than $300 a month. maybe like 280 or something. Which seems like a pretty decent deal, I guess. Western Mass Dave, this is what made you decide to get a car. I'm not going to get it now, probably within the next 2 years. Because I plan to be spending more time in Miami. You know, if you have a family, you can't, you know, throw everyone on the back of the Vespa. I guess we could, but we'll see. All right. Mr. 007, let me get you the report right now, sir. Internet either. Yeah, I think we hit a huge dead zone outside of Madison Square Garden. Crazy. All right, anyway, Mr. 007, if you're still here, I just put the Q2 real estate report in the chat. I know Doc 7 says Ackman put his IPO on hold. That he did. But at the end of the day, and I'm a big Bill Ackman fan, I mean, I would never buy that IPO. He's just investing in the companies. I mean, I'd rather purchase a company who's growing and making an innovative product. You know, I could buy Chipotle myself. I don't need to buy Ackman's company. Come up to 33rd Street. I've been seeing a lot of those little bikes around all over the place. think I'm gonna call it early tonight. I gotta get something to drink. I gotta go to bed. Hopefully we'll be better 100% tomorrow. But if you guys enjoyed the stream, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we will be sending out our Behind the Street newsletter on Thursday. If you want to receive it, just scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and it'll drop the link to our Substack. So thanks for joining, everyone. Sorry for the late stream. I'm just a little bit under the weather. And we'll see you all soon.